Right, well, I'm going to begin by asking if you had both seen Weekend, or if you watched it when you kind of were given the script for this, to see what Andrew was all about, and if you felt he was a director that was worth collaborating with.
I most definitely saw Weekend, which was...
I haven't seen it yet, but I promised them yesterday that I would see it.
Bit late to sort of assess.
Well, it's too avant-garde for me. I prefer Boy Meets Girl. But I did, I'd read the screenplay, and I knew this was Andrew was a talented person, or he couldn't have written it.
Because I mean, he's made a remarkable start to his career in cinema, and I was just wondering, I mean, I know that his two films so far have been incredible, but what's he like to collaborate with? Is he as good as anyone else you've ever worked with?
Yes, he's sort of more than good than a lot of people, because he has an extremely easy understanding of people. He makes you feel absolutely at ease. He makes everybody feel at ease completely. And whatever you really want to say, you feel that you can say it to him. There's no problem. He'll think about it, laugh with you, try it, experiment. He's open. He has an extraordinary openness about him to receive things.
Yes, and he doesn't always feel necessary to comment. He doesn't say more than he needs to.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the film is obviously set over this kind of 7-day period, and I was just wondering if you focus, when you kind of approach roles in a film of this ilk, I mean, do you approach it just on what's in that week, or do you build up what happened the week before it, or what happened the week afterwards, or is it only what's on the page? Well,
what's on the page for me is what happened 50 years ago. And that struck me as utterly natural, because my wife said, you're always thinking about the past. So,
and I think, yes, you do. You bring all that into it. You bring all the things that are in this story are things we have had similar experiences in different ways of all of that. So it's about our experiences, it's about us.
Because it's such an accurate picture of domestic life, one can't but hark back to one's domestic life. Like, for instance, one bit that always amuses me is when he doesn't want to go to this lunch. It's a lunch, is it? No, I'm not going. She says, why? I don't want to. He's your best friend, and he's taken a lot of... Oh, all right, I'll go. It's just like me and my wife, making me... I mean, it's very... I mean, the accuracy of the sort of picture of home life, as it were, is terrific.
I mean, talking of your wife, did you ask her to kind of help interpret some of Kate's?
Yes, after I'd read it, of course, and I couldn't wait for Isabel to read it, and because I wanted to ask, why does she turn away from him? Because that was always in the script, and she explained that he's put her through so much. Oh, has he? But then on the other hand, she said, but you don't. You can't blame either of them. It's I suppose that's what's good about it. He can't help it, and she can't help being hurt by it.
I think what's beautiful about the story of the emotional journey is because there's no blame. There's nothing to blame. So what is going on? What is this haunting? Where is it coming from? Why is it overwhelming Kate? It overwhelmed Jeff for a while, but then he knew the story, but Kate had no idea of it. So there's layers upon layers that come up.
Interestingly enough, there must be 2 or 3 scenes of the build-up to her realising just how taken he is by this dead girl that were cut, because he found he didn't need them. He shot, but because but all of a sudden, I mean, she's terribly sympathetic, and then all of a sudden, it's hard for her to bear it, because he's so occupied and miles away from where it's supposed to be, which is being sympathetic towards her getting their anniversary party together. And it doesn't help whatsoever. It's just like my home life. I mean, there's even that scene about the photographs. I remember Isabel saying to me, there aren't any photographs of us. And there it is, isn't there? Well, surely there aren't there?
I mean, it's one thing to act opposite somebody when you're supposed to be meeting them for the first time, falling in love, or you've been in a sort of relationship for a few years. But this is a marriage of almost half a century. I mean, you're supposed to have this sort of bond that is, you're kind of woven into the fabric of one another's life. I mean, how do you go about achieving that? Did you know each other very well before getting involved in this project, or did you have to spend some time with each other to get to know each other? Did it just come very naturally?
No, someone said yesterday that this American couple, actors, I can't remember what it's called, in a film about a relationship, decided they'd
live together
for 6 weeks. I mean, that would... Can you imagine? We had one day together. We read our scenes with Andrew, and then we went off and had a little tapas or something at your hotel and a couple of glasses of wine, and that was it. That was our preparation.
But there's something about, I mean, I don't know, everyone goes into the acting process in a different way, but there's something about just living your own experience, your own life experience, and you're just putting your whole self into just another character, but that character in this film could be me easily, and Jeff could be Tom. So we were just us, really, playing to the tune of Andrew's Haunting.
Bill Nye told me he was in a film, and the director said that this American actor, he's going in deep. So he was like all day and every day and all the time, in deep. It's like,
yes.
Oh, no good that. Just now and again deep, but not all the time.
I think it's quite British, our attitude. I think we're from the British. I think we're from the British school.
Yeah.
Mm.
Charlotte, I mean, there'll be a lot of filmmakers who have made Kate much more kind of vocal and to shout her feelings and express herself in a very vocal way. I was wondering, so much of this is internal, and does less actually give you more to work with as an actor?
Yeah, I like that. I love it. I've always wanted to do almost silent pictures. I'd love to have been in the silent era almost. There's something about that fascinates me, of actually just penetrating a story almost in silence. And there was actually a lot more talk. There was a lot more scene. There was a lot more explicative scenes in the screenplay that we filmed. But he felt that he backed off as he was editing, because he just wanted it to be inside our heads.
Yeah, I mean, obviously from the story's point of view, Jeff has to speak at some length about the girl and her death and being there with her in the mountains. And, I have to say I did enjoy doing that, although sometimes the words can be a bit of a nuisance, and but I did enjoy the words in this, because he wrote some very beautiful words.
One in particular, I mean, I love that when you're speaking about obviously your ex-lover, and you said she looks like she did in 1962 and I look like this.
Well,
I was wondering,
nice of a bit, we plotted, and I did 3 or 4 takes with saying she looked like she did in 1962 and I look like this. Fuck me. And after 3...
Which one came in? Which one did we keep?
No, he said, and after 3 takes, he said, you don't need to say fuck me. And I was so enjoying saying fuck me. And he said, we don't need it, and so it's not there.
And it's funny, very, very quickly, I mean, obviously next up for you, Tom, is Dad's Army. I was just wondering if you could tell us a little bit about how similar this is in terms of spirit and tone to the
I'll tell you,
TV.
I was first offered Dad's Army at Isabel. I call her Isabel, Charlotte.
When we were filming.
I was first asked to be in Dad's Army, and I couldn't read it. I got halfway, because I was so involved with it 45 years. As luck would have it, that financing fell through, and it wasn't done in the summer, it was done in the autumn, and Ollie Parker very sweetly asked me again, by which time I hadn't worked for a bit, so I thought I'd give it a whirl. But it was very, very different from 45 years. So they didn't go together in my head, I promise you.
So not much of a double bill then. Well, thank you so much.
Double whammy.
Thank you.
Tom Courtenay, 45 years, and Dad's Army.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey You Guys!